As we proceed with the development of the film project that's related to the Look For Me, I Will Find You book series, I'm finding that there are a lot of sets that I can use that are ready-made, which means I can step into them without a lot of additional work. Like, for instance, I have available to me a boat dock, which can be used to film the scene between Macy Lee and Dillon in 1637. And of course, we have the cemetery where Laurie and Wallace first meet. And there's a variety of other things that are readily available that are not going to be difficult at all to use for filming of the trailer. I'm going to mock up a set of Wallace's studio, is what I'm calling it. This is where he works as a psychologist, and it'll have a couch and a chair and a desk and that sort of stuff. So I'm in the process of getting that furniture together and getting that set up. I've got a place where I can do that. One of the scenes that I want to film for the trailer, and it's not really the whole scene, it's just a little clip from the scene, is where Dub and Meallan and Laurie and Megan are about to be burned at the stake. Now that takes place in the year 1025, and they're in the courtyard of a castle hyphen monastery hyphen church facility of some kind. Really what I envision is that it takes place at a castle that's been taken over by the church, a castle that was built some years before, so it's kind of in disrepair, but it's been taken over by the church. And so they have a sanctuary, and then they have the courtyard, which is where they're actually going to do where they would burn people at the stake. And I was looking through a picture book of castles in Ireland, and I found just what looked like a really perfect castle. And I thought, wow, that'd be a great place to film, ultimately to film the scene when we do the motion picture. I don't even know where the castle is other than Ireland. We'll have to track it down, but I'm sure people that know castles in Ireland will know right where it is, because it's a castle in ruins, and I don't know if those are considered historic monuments or what. Can you use those for filmmaking? Maybe you can, maybe you can't. It really depends. I mean, like if you try to film something at the Alamo in San Antonio, it would take an act of Congress to get permission to do that, simply because it's a shrine. It's a historical monument. It's a important historical piece for the state of Texas and for the United States. And I don't know if this castle in Ireland fits in that category or not, because I don't know anything about it. But ultimately, I looked at it, looked at the picture, and I said, "Man, that's a perfect location." Almost what I had in mind when I wrote the story. So to film the trailer, what I thought we could do is mock up a castle. Now, we don't need to see the whole castle. All we need to do is see in the background a castle wall, and in the foreground, or in the middle ground, is going to be the four characters where they're strapped to stationary post stakes, as you would say, and then in the immediate foreground is the fire. Obviously, we don't want to burn up our actors, so we're going to use a method where you're kind of sandwiching these things, and then with depth of field, you compress them together so it looks like it's all taking place at the same spot. I've never done anything like that, so I don't know for sure how successful that will be, but I think it would work out fine. Now, to create the castle, we have a couple of options. One of the things I thought is, well, we could get some pictures of the castle in Ireland, or of a castle, and then have printed a giant mural. And if you hang that in the background and put some vegetation around it and so on, it's pretty amazing how you can photograph a photograph and it looks real. So that's one option. Another option would be to hang a green screen back there and So we get some video footage of the castle, and we put that into the green screen so that the actors, it looks like they're really in front of that actual castle. That's the second method. And then the third method, since we're not filming the entire castle, only a wall or a portion of it to give the sense that it is a castle, is we could build a mock-up out of styrofoam. And basically that's just getting some carpenters to come in and build a structure, and then you get your styrofoam panels, and the artist will carve those panels to look like rock, and then paint them with an acrylic paint, various colors, so that photographically it looks like real rock. And Hollywood does that all the time. People don't realize how common that is, to fake something like that. I mean, you build a structure to hold it, but it's only the front, or front and the side, or whatever. You're not building the entire structure. So it's relatively cheap that way. So we will try to do something like that. One of those three methods. I kind of like the idea of the styrofoam, because then you can control the light, and you don't have any issues of whether or not it looks fake, because if you look through the lens and the styrofoam mock-up looks real, then it's going to look real. It's going to photograph real. As I think about filming the trailer, the thing that that comes to mind, I mean, when I originally said, well, let's do a trailer / teaser, it was more of a teaser than a trailer. A trailer is where you take clips out of the actual movie and you edit those together to kind of tell some of the story without giving it away and make the audiences want to see it. Whereas a teaser is you're filming some scenes where you can show people what it will look like in order to encourage them to, say, invest in the movie. So we might do a hybrid of a trailer - teaser, I'm not sure. In conceiving the trailer, what I have in my mind is that you could have dates like October 24, 2008 showing on the screen, and then you introduce Wallace and Lori at the cemetery and have a little bit of that sequence, and then boom, all of a sudden the date changes. I envision white letters that click back, boom, 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 back to 1014, and then we see a clip from Dub in battle, or maybe he's with Meowlin. Not sure what we would use, but something dramatic to kind of set the stage, and then boom, you see the time shift again, and you're at 1850 Ireland, and that would be the device to make the trailer work. Is you're moving the time and you're telling the audience that, hey, this is a time story, and then you take out of each one of those time periods, you take something really dramatic that'll make it exciting, and then as you go from the beginning, with a setup from the beginning, then the pace picks up as the trailer continues. It just picks up and gets really fast. And I'm thinking like the ending sequence for the trailer might be the burning at the stake, because that's a pretty dramatic thing. And then clip, fast pace with the audio running with it, and some exciting music, and then clip, then you're back to 2008, slow pace again, with some kind of comment from one of the actors, like, wow. And what that'll do is that'll tell the audience that it's a time travel story. They won't figure out that we're tracing the lives of these characters. That won't be obvious, because they'll see a bunch of different characters. But one of the discussions, and maybe this is in the final sequence where Megan is talking to Wallace, she's the one that says, I made the air go out of the tire, and he said, so that's how we met. And she says, yes, this time. And I think that would be a good closer. People are going to say, because they've just seen all these sequences out of these other time periods, and they're going to say, wow, this time. I mean, that kind of tells the story, without giving it away, it kind of tells the story that, hey, this stuff is changeable, which I think makes the story exciting, and is one of the reasons I think that people are reading the stories the way they are. So I'm excited that we're moving forward on the trailer, and in the process now of doing some ideas relative to where we're going to get the sets that we're going to use. And it's almost like doing a whole production, except that there's no budget. I mean, it's a zero budget kind of thing. It's going to be done just as creatively as we can, given what we can get our hands on. And obviously we're going to spend some money, but we can't spend a lot of money. So everything that we mock up is going to have to be as low budget as possible, but still have nice production values. And one of the things that I'm going to really try to do to make sure the production values are good, I believe that lighting is very important. I believe that backgrounds are very important. I mean, that's the way I approach my still photography. And my model can attest to that I spend a lot of time studying the background. And she's always set and ready and good at what she does. I don't have to worry about her, because she worries about herself and makes sure that she's good with the right outfit and the right accoutrements, the accessories. I don't have to worry about that, because she does that so well by herself. So I'm constantly looking at backgrounds, constantly trying to figure out how the light's going to play. And that's good, because when you're creating images, you're using light to paint. It's an artistic process, and the camera is just a tool to help you capture what you can envision with your eye, and what you can create in terms of setting up your pose and your set and your background and all of that. Cinematography is absolutely no different. You just have to deal with motion. So I guess it is different. You're having to deal with motion because it's dynamic, as opposed to a still, which is not. But in terms of the design of the photograph, or the design of the video or photographic motion picture image, thinking about lighting and all of that, it's all pretty much the same. You do have a dynamic in motion picture, which is the acting. A model can pose, and if you don't like the pose, you can say, hey, try something different. Whereas when someone's acting, you can't interrupt them. Well, you can, but I mean, it just means you got to start over. You don't want to interrupt them constantly. You want to get them rehearsed to the point where they play the part and you can film it. So anyway, that's kind of what we're working on right now, is doing some preliminary work on sets. We still don't have a timetable on any of this, and it doesn't matter. I mean, we'll get it done when we get it done. It's development, and developing a project takes time. And what's fun to me is that it's coming together so well. As I read back through the books, trying to think, well, what should I include? It's funny how a lot of things are easy to include without a great deal of expense. For instance, the sequence with Macy, Lee, and Dylan at the boat dock. I mean, since we have a boat dock, that's easy. Now, it might be difficult to film on location because of noise, ambient noise. We're talking about 1637, so I cannot have a jet ski or a motorboat in the background. Now, it does take place at night, so there's an advantage to that. It's generally pretty quiet at that location. And if the shot gets busted with an airplane or a motorboat or something, well, we'll just have to deal with it.